I really think that I just watched this video on Instagram of it was this Batman edit of Bruce Wayne and what's his butler's name? Fuck, I forgot his butler's name. And he's like, I failed. And then the butler says, why do we fall, Mr. Wayne? And he's like, so we can learn to pick ourselves up. And Bruce Wayne goes, you haven't given up on me. And the butler goes, never. And then it's a beautiful clip because it's just showing like all of these evolutions of Batman and all of the shit that he's gone through. And I'm starting to think that the things that we produce are just a result of the evolution that we go through. I'm starting to think that it's not about the business I'm building. It's about the person I'm becoming. And the more I'm focused on the person that I'm becoming, the more I'll effortlessly build the dreams, the business of my dreams. Whereas if that is the focus, I fall short. And I actually get this from someone who does this very, very well is my best friend, Phil. This is, I truly do believe this is a superpower of his that it really scared me at first because it made me feel very small because I was like, fuck, like I'm not thinking big enough. Like, and I felt really bad about it. But now it's like, I see the magic in it. And I see the brilliance in Phil. And I hope you guys get to meet Phil one day. And I think you will just by who he will become. He won't be someone you can ignore. Like he will very much be a public-facing figure. And I met him, and I say this to my other best friend. There are two people in my life, and I didn't even want to reveal this. I don't like revealing this information because I like keeping this private to me, but it's starting to get to a point to where it will benefit you if you know them. You know? So, Kashawn and Phil, these are my two best friends. In Phil, I met him at a startup, and I say this about Phil all the time, that he became a day one on day one, right? So if you guys have ride or dies, if you guys have best friends, me and him literally clicked the second we met. Yeah, I remember we were at a startup. It was a SaaS startup. And he got hired, and he came in midday. So we were already at lunch. He came in to the restaurant. We sat down, and we just started talking immediately at lunch, and then we just didn't stop. And we haven't stopped. And this was years ago, I think. I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't even remember the time frame. Time is not really. I'm starting to lose a track of time. So something that really blew my mind, because there were equity deals inside this startup, which were baloney, by the way. I thought it was so legit and so real because the guy it was a very small company. I think it started off just a couple of people, and I think by the time we left, I got fired. And then I think Phil left. I think there were like 10, 15 people in the office, maybe. The only reason I was working at this startup, because it was very low pay, was the upside. Because this guy sold his previous company for 75 million publicly and 100 million privately or something like that. So I was like, okay, this dude's the real deal. This is like the closest thing that I can get to Alex Hormozi inside of my local circle. So let me go ahead and work for this company. Because the payout is, there was like an equity deal. It was going to be at least like $1 million per person, you know, and then like possibly way more in a matter of years, like 3-4 years. And I was like, okay, I'll write it out. Like I'll do it. It's B2B SaaS. I wanna sharpen my blade as a salesperson. You know, I haven't played in this playground before. So let me go ahead and dive into this sandbox real quick and just become a better salesperson. And that was kind of like my end goal, was like that $1 million. And Phil said this, and it still like shakes me to my core, because I was so focused on that being the end goal. And Phil was just like, I can't even, I'm gonna have to ask him and see if he can tell me what he said, but he was just like, that just wasn't the end goal to him. Like, he was just like, yeah, like if we make the $1 million, cool. If we don't, cool. Like, I know I can make $1 million in like 4 years or less, like by myself. So I'm just here to like do something else, like way bigger than the $1 million. And I was just like, fuck, like why didn't I think of that? Like, and I just felt so like my vision was here and Phil's vision was like there. And this is why I love Phil, because he's doing this to me, and it's rubbing off on me. And I think this is going to be the greatest thing that that has ever rubbed off on me from Phil. There's many good things about Phil. I think he's a brilliant thinker, which is funny because I think he thinks that about me. But I had a conversation with him and Kashawn yesterday. We were in a Discord and we were just chopping it up, and I was like, wow, they both think I'm a smart mind. Like, they both think I'm intelligent. And I have never felt more stupid when I listened to both of them talk. I was just like, together, right? Because, I was connected to Phil and I was connected to Keish, but they were never connected to each other. So I just recently connected them to each other, and now we're all three a circle rather than a line where it's like A, B, and C, and I'm B. So A only has access to B and C only has access to B. Well, now A and C have access to each other, right? And I think that alone is going to be a monumental moment for my life, because those are my only two people that I talk to every single day. Like, the only two people. Like, so yeah. So basically, to kind of recap this, what I'm starting to realize that's rubbing off on me from Phil is that I'm no longer looking at that as the thing. I'm looking at something else, because Phil's really good at making this the goal, where I make this the goal. And then because Phil has made this the goal, he will hit this regardless, right? But because if I make this my goal, I might not hit this regardless. So I'm not constantly thinking like, what can I make, my new goal that will make me hit this goal? It's kind of just like a revelation where I was walking back from the bathroom and I'm like, wait, there's all this noise in my fucking head of like, what if this product sucks? What if it flops? What if it doesn't work? What if it sucks? And and I'm just like, I'm making that the goal. And then I realized from watching this Batman clip that I talked about in the very beginning of this video, where it's just like, it's not about the business. It's about my evolution. And the business is a product of my evolution and where I'm at evolution-wise, if that makes sense. It's about where I'm at in my journey of my own personal evolution. So I'm like, oh, it's not about, like, and then all the noise shut up in my head. Like, all of the noise where I'm like, oh, I have to get this LoRa pipeline done today. Oh my God. I spent how long on building a RAP pipeline? Oh my God. And it's just like all of this like time that's causing all of this pressure because I'm believing in it. I'm just like, wait, it's not about the business. It's not about the AI. It's about my evolution. And that's the only thing it's about. And when I make that the only thing that it's about, everything else is a lot less stressful. When I'm like, oh, it's not about me building this product. It's about me learning how to deal with not having the product built in the time that I want it built in. That's my evolution, right? Like, me being stressed about the timeline of wanting something done, that's not about, I'm having that because I'm making it about the product. But as soon as I realize it's about my evolution, it's like, oh, I chose this. Like, this moment that I'm experiencing right now where I'm living in fucking hell because I feel like I should have done this in a certain amount of time, I'm making it about the business. But when I make it about me and my own personal evolution, and I go, oh, wait, this is so I can learn how to deal with these emotions that I'm feeling right now. That's all it's about. It's not about if I have a call with my clients and I fuck up and I have to refund them, and I get shamed on social media, like all of these fears, like, oh my God, Paul's a fraud, Paul's a scam, Paul's not really as good as he thinks he is, like all these things that I'm so afraid of. It's just like the same things can happen, but when I'm focused on it being for my evolution, it hits me way differently. I'm more open to it hitting me. I invite it to hit me. And the funny thing about that is, it's almost like the act of surrendering and letting go. And then because of that, they don't hit me. And it's so trippy to experience and talk about now that I'm realizing it. But yeah, I'm no longer, at least in this moment, because I'm sure I will make it about the business again and stress out and then catch myself. But in this moment, I am no longer making it about the business, and I'm making it about my own personal evolution. And in that, I find a lot of great comfort. I find a lot of silence to all of the noise in my head. And I'm sharing this with you because I hope you can too. If you struggle the way I struggle and you want to achieve great things, but the thing getting in the way of you achieving great things is the person you believe yourself to be, and because of that, there's noise in your head as a result of that. Hopefully this can help you quiet or completely silence the noise inside of your head the way it is for me right now, where I'm just making it about my own personal evolution. And it's just like, back to the Batman clip, it's like, why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. Why am I stressing myself out? So I can learn how to move while still experiencing stress. My evolution, not the business. So I think if I just keep focusing on my own personal evolution, I'll build a business and an AI that I could have never dreamed of if that's all I was focusing on. And I'll do it with 1/10 of the effort. I'll actually do it with no effort, because that's not the goal. That's not the mission. The goal and the mission is my own evolution. And if I make that and I keep evolving, I'm going to build that business nonstop, and it will always evolve, at least in my opinion, to the degree that I have evolved. Yeah.